Mieke from Beats and Basics, and thank you for watching this jewelry tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to create these earrings. All the materials can be bought on our website www.beatsandbasics.com, and as you can see next to me, you can also make an earring and a necklace set, but I'll explain that in the video later. So let's get started. Here are the used materials. You'll need a bead mat, copper wire in 0.4 millimeters and in a golden color, earring studs, and those are stainless steel, and as you can see they have an eyelet at the bottom, and we're gonna need that to attach the earring hoops to later. Then you'll need flower beads, 2 different colors of the Miyuki seed beads, faceted beads, and those are 4 by 3 millimeters, earring hoops, those are 44 by 40 millimeters and also stainless steel, jump rings, and those are 4 millimeters and also stainless steel. And lastly, you will need a flat nose plier to open and close the jump ring. So I started by cutting about 25 centimeters of the metal wire, and now we're going to start by wrapping it around the earring hoop. And I already made one, and I like to make the other one in the mirror image. So I'm going to make this flower on this side, and that will be the first part where we start with. We're going to wrap the wire around the earring hoop, and we're going to do that as following. You're going to hold the wire with your thumb and you're going to wrap the wire around the ring. And I'm going to do this for about 2 times just to make sure that it's secure. And then it will look something like this. And as you can see, I have a large gap in between the first wrapping and like the third one. This is not a problem because you can always unwrap this part. But for now I'm going to keep it like this because it makes it secure. I'm going to press the second and the third wrapping towards each other just to make it look nicer, like this. And now I'm going to continue wrapping for about 9 times. So this was 1 and 2. So as you can see, I'm not counting the first one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can always stop at any moment to press the wrappings towards each other and make it more secure and nicer to look at. As you can see here, this is way more tighter than this one. So that was 4. 5, and as you can see here, there's a little bit of an opening, so I'm going to put 1 nail on this side and 1 on the other side, and I'm just going to push it gently towards each other, and as you can see, the gap has been closed. Now I'm going to make sure that the wire is facing forward, and you know what the front of the earring is by flipping it over. As you can see, this will be the back of the earring and this is the front. So you're going to make sure that the wire is facing upwards. And the reason for that is because we're going to make some sort of a leaf. So we're going to make this part of the earring. So in my case, I'm going to thread 1 pink Miyuki bead, 1 gray one, and another pink bead. And whatever color combination you choose, the bead that's in the middle will be in the top. You're gonna thread that all the way, and now we're gonna fold the wire. We're gonna do that by leaving about 1 centimeter in between the hoop and the end of the wire. And now we're gonna make a fold, like so. You're gonna put all the beads in the fold and make sure that the gray one is in the top. Now we're going to press it together. So you're going to hold the bottom of the wire with 1 hand, and you're going to hold the beads with the other hand, and you're going to twist the wire around itself. And by holding the beads, you make sure that there's enough room on the top for the beads. And once you think it's getting too tight, you can always use the flat nose plier by holding the beads and just twist it 1 more time. Make sure that you don't twist it too tight because the wire may break then. And this is what you're left with. You can always choose to make this leaf longer. Then instead of using 1 centimeter, you can use 2 or 1.5, etc. And now we're going to continue wrapping for about 2 times to secure the leaf. And when you start wrapping again, just hold your thumb against the leaf so it won't turn. Just press it against the leaf, and once you did that, you're going to make sure that the wire is facing upwards. And now it's time for the flower beads. What you're going to do is you grab a flower bead and you're going to make sure that the front is facing towards you, and you're also going to thread a faceted bead like this. Now we're going to put the wire back through the flower bead. So you skip the faceted bead and you go back through the flower bead. And you're going to press the flower against the earring hoop when you pull the wire. And just pull it tight but gently. And once you did that, you will see that the flower will stay in place. You can also use a flat nose plier if you see that your wire could go a little further, like that. And as you can see, our leaf is still visible from behind the flower. Now we're going to continue wrapping, and it's easier to do it from the back now because you can see it. And we're going to do about 3 more wrappings. And you want to make sure to pull your wrappings towards the flower. So we're going to do it by pressing. Like that. And as you can see, it's more neat. Now we're going to make the second leaf. And we're going to do this the same way as we did the first leaf. So you're going to thread a pink bead, a gray bead, and another pink bead. So, and this time I'm going to make the leaf a little bit longer. So I'm going to leave about 1.5 centimeters. Then I fold my wire. And I'm going to hold the wire together. And I'm going to twist the wire around itself by holding the beads with my other hand. Like so. And then your second leaf is also done. The nice thing about the wire is that you can always bend it in the shape that you want. For example, if your flower is in front of your leaves, you can easily shape your leaves to be in a particular angle to make them more visible in your earring. So I'm going to flip the earring around again. And I'm going to secure this leaf by wrapping for another 2 more times. If you feel like you cannot reach underneath because of the flower, you can also use your flat nose plier. And you're going to twist it around the earring and then push it with your nails. Like this. And now we're gonna wrap the wire onto the earring until the wire is visible from behind the flower. And we're gonna do that because that's the time that we're gonna wrap the beads onto the earring, like you can see here. And if you start too early, you won't see them because the flower will be in the way. So that's why I'm gonna choose to wrap the wire for about 6 or 7 times. So as you can see, I wrapped the wire around for about 6 or 7 times. And as you can also see that the shape of my earring is not round anymore. This can also happen to you while you wrap the wire. Don't worry, just put it back and then press it or pull it from the bottom. And this makes sure that the shape will return. As I mentioned before, we're gonna thread the beads. So I'm gonna start with the pink one. And you're just gonna thread it onto the earring, like so. So I'm gonna flip the earring around so you can see it better. I'm gonna hold this bead with my nail while I wrap the wire around the earring. Like so. And don't worry that the wrapping isn't tight yet, because that's what we're gonna do next. So you're just gonna pull it towards the bead. And you're gonna try to hold the bead in place and just fold the wire around it. And this can be a bit difficult because of the flower that's in the way. And if that's the case, you can always flip it around to hold it. And we're gonna wrap the wire around for about 2 times to make the bead secure. Like so. And then we're gonna make sure that the wire is facing downwards or to the middle of the earring. And now we're gonna thread a gray bead. And we're actually gonna do the same for this bead as well. The only difference is that the pink bead is facing upwards and the gray bead will be facing downwards. Just hold the bead and wrap your wire around the earring. And for this one as well, you're gonna wrap the wire around for about 2 to 3 times. And by making this consistent, your end result will be much cleaner. So make sure that the wire is facing outwards again, and we're gonna thread another pink bead. You're gonna repeat this step until you have 3 pink beads and 2 gray beads. And then I'm gonna show you how to tie off your work. As you can see, I finished wrapping this part because I have 3 pink beads and 2 gray beads. And now we're gonna tie it off. To make it extra secure, we're gonna wrap a total of 7 times. Now we're gonna cut off this piece of wire, and you're gonna cut it off at about 1 centimeter away from the earring hoop. Like that. And now we're gonna wrap this tightly around the earring. And for that I'm using this flat nose plier again. And we're just gonna continue doing this until you can press it flat against the earring. And just feel if it's still sharp, and if it is, you can make it more flat. And then you can press it against the bead. And we're going to do the same with the starting point. And as I mentioned before, we're first going to unwrap this part. And then you're going to make sure that you start with a clean end. And we're going to do the same as we did on the other side. You're just going to fold it around the earring hoop. And then your first part is finished. For the second part, I also cut off about 20 to 25 centimeters of the metal wire, and actually everything is the same. The only difference is that we're gonna add a bit more leaves, and that we're gonna use 2 flowers instead of 1, but that's actually the only difference. The technique is still the same. So you're gonna start by wrapping the wire onto the earring hoop, and I'm gonna leave about 2 centimeters in between the first part and the part that we're gonna start now. And I'm gonna wrap it around for about 3 or 4 times, just to make it secure, like this. And just like the last time, your first wrapping won't be as tight as your second and third one. And I'm gonna continue to make a total of 6 wrappings. And now I'm gonna start adding the beads again. And as you can see here, we're gonna start from this side. So I'm gonna do 2 gray and 2 pink ones, starting with the gray one. So once you've done that, I'll show you how to create the next leaf. As you can see, I finished this part, and now I'm gonna wrap a total of about 6 wrappings without adding a bead. So this is 3. And I'm gonna do one more, so 7 wrappings in total. So make sure that your wire is facing downwards, and we're gonna add a pink bead, a gray bead, and another pink bead. And we're gonna make a leaf again. So again, just like the last time, we're gonna leave about 1 or 1.5 centimeters. We're gonna fold the wire. You're gonna hold it with one hand and twist it with the other by holding the beads. And to make the leaf secure, we're gonna continue wrapping for about 2 more times. So 1 and 2, and it helps to keep your fingers against the leaf. And make sure that your wire is facing to the front, because it's time for another flower bead and another facette bead. And we go back through the flower bead. Then you hold the flower bead with your fingers and you pull the wire tight. And to make it extra secure, we're gonna wrap the wire around for 5 times. And this time you want your wire to face inwards to the earring. And we're gonna make another leaf. So again, you thread a pink bead, a gray bead, and another pink bead. And this time I'm gonna make it longer, so I'm gonna do again about 1.5 centimeters. I'm gonna fold the wire, hold the wire with my other hand, and then twist the wire while holding the beads. And now I'm gonna continue wrapping, but I'm only gonna do it to secure the leaf. I'm only gonna do it 1 time, and then we're gonna create another leaf. So make sure that the wire is facing inwards again. And this one we're gonna make a little shorter. So we're gonna leave about 1 centimeter. We fold the wire in half, hold it with one hand and twist it with the other while holding the beads. And to make this leaf secure, we're gonna wrap it 2 times. And we're gonna make yet another leaf. This time you're gonna make sure that the wire is facing downwards. Gonna fold the wire in half at about 1 to 1.5 centimeters, so a long one again. And we're gonna twist the wire onto itself. And then it will look something like this. And to make this leaf secure, we're gonna wrap it around for 3 times. And we're almost finished, I promise. We're just gonna thread one last flower bead and a facette bead. And we're going back with our copper wire through the flower bead. Hold the flower bead with your fingers against the earring and pull tight to make the flower secure. Now I'm gonna flip it over. And now we're gonna continue wrapping without adding anything for about 8 times. This will be the back of the earring. And now for the last part, we're gonna continue with wrapping the beads. You will have 3 pink ones facing outwards and 3 gray ones facing inwards. And then when you're at the end, I'll show you how to tie off your work. As you can see, I finished the last part. And to finish it off, I tied around the hoop for another 5 times in total. And now I'm gonna cut off the excess and leave about 1 centimeter. And as we did with the other part, we're gonna wrap this around the earring hoop and just press it flat against the earring. And we're gonna do the same with the starting point, only this time I left a little bit too much. So I'm also gonna cut it off. I'm gonna unwrap the first wrapping we did and make it more tight. So like that. And I'm gonna make it round again. And then your earring hoop will look like this. For your first hoop, you're quite free to know how many wrappings you want to do or how many wrappings you want to do in between each bead, etc. but for your second one you have to count all the wrappings you did for your first earring, just to make sure that they're even in design. And as I mentioned before, I wanted to create some sort of a mirror image, so that's what I did here. And lastly, we're going to need to attach the stud earring to the hoop, and we're going to do that by using a stainless steel 4mm jump ring. And I'm going to open that by using the flat nose plier. And as you can see, the stud earring has an eyelet in the bottom. That's where you're going to put your 4mm jump ring through. And then you're just going to attach the hoop earring and close the jump ring. And then your earring is finished. If it's your second earring you make, then you have to make sure that the amount of wrapping is the same as your first one and the spacing in between your beads is the same. This will make the design look more cohesive. Of course, we have more colors of the flower beads and the Miyuki seed beads in our collection. Just take a look at www.beadsandbasics.com. And if you want to create this design, you can find it as well on our website. Here I made a list of materials that I used. And if you want to create this necklace, it's very easy. The technique is the same. You only need a tube bead, and you're gonna put the metal wire through the tube bead and start with this group of flowers to make it secure. And from there you can wrap the wire around with the seed beads. And lastly, you only have to connect the chain, and you do that by threading it through the tube bead and attaching a clasp and an extender chain. And then your necklace is finished and you will have a nice set to wear. As I mentioned before, we have more colors in our collection, so you can create your own fun color combination. I hope you liked this tutorial and that you're gonna create the earrings yourself. If you did, feel free to share your creation on Instagram using our hashtag #BeadsandBasics. All the materials can be bought on our website www.beadsandbasics.com. And if you would like to see more of these video tutorials, please subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section down below. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!